Welcome back to A Minute with Chelsea. Look at my bathroom in Iceland. It is full of my laundry. I'm working like a little washerwoman in Iceland, doing all of my chores like Cinderella all by myself. And it's actually kind of fun and also just kind of chill. I don't know. I kind of like not doing anything but laundry and eating. I prepaid for my hotel breakfast every day I was there on my credit card, so I wouldn't have to worry about anything. And I'm going to say Hotel Aya has Outcast. Hotel Aya has an amazing breakfast buffet. So if you're looking for a really cute hotel in Iceland, this one is affordable and it has a beautiful little lobby with a little library, lots of nice couches. The staff is super helpful and wonderful. And if you are traveling to Iceland and you're like, okay, but I don't want to walk Reykjavik all day long, then just know every hotel has a button they push and the button calls a taxi to your room. Well, to the front door, and they come pick you up. You don't have to do anything. I did a little bit of skincare. I did a little foot mask because my feet were kind of feeling gross. And I'm going to be honest, I got a weird heat rash around my ankles because I wore wool socks and hiking boots all week, and I had to kind of fix that problem. And while I was in Iceland, this is what's happening at home. Poor little Charlotte, trying to accept the love, even though she hates love, but Shelby's giving it to her anyway. I've been laying around for like 2 days straight, other than a little trip to the grocery store, which was right behind my hotel. It's almost attached to my hotel. So today I decided to take a little walk by myself and be brave. I took a shower, I put makeup on, and I walked an entire 1.5 miles up the road to Perlan. Perlan is, I thought it was an observatory, like a planetarium, but it's not. It's more of a museum. And I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with you, I don't think it was worth the money. I think it was probably my least favorite thing that I did the entire time I was in Iceland. And I went here because this was the night that the planets were supposed to be the most in alignment, right? Like 6 planets all lined up, and you were supposed to be able to see it around sunset. I have an app on my phone called Alpenglow, and I think I pay like $5 a year for it. It tells you about the sunset, the sunrise, golden hour, all of the different times of day and how good they're going to look. So if you're camping and you want to know, is it worth getting up at 5 a.m. to look at the sunrise? It'll tell you, like, yeah, it's going to be a good one, or don't worry about it today. So I used that to see when the sunset would be, and I walked all the way to Perlan by myself. And I will tell you right now, I was sweating through my clothes by the time I got here because it was mostly an uphill walk. But when I got there, I let myself in and I went to the front desk and I paid money to get into this museum. I think my ticket was about $40, maybe $45, and you get a little bracelet that lets you go into all of the exhibits. The first one I went to was the Northern Lights exhibit. It's kind of like an IMAX theater, and you watch a little video called Aurora, and it's just about the Northern Lights. I think that was probably the coolest part. I learned a lot about the aurora and how it's formed and what makes it happen and how you really can't predict it even with an app. After that, I went upstairs to the little ice cream parlor because they had really, really good looking ice cream, and I got blueberry. I was in between blueberry and chocolate chip cookie dough, and I think I should have gone with chocolate chip, but she did give me a little Iceland chocolate flag inside it, and I thought, oh, that's fun. So my goal here was to eat dinner at their revolving restaurant. So this big observatory, well, it's an observation deck. You can eat inside and it rotates, but by the time I got there, which was only 6 o'clock p.m., the restaurant was closed. And I was like, oh, they really don't do dinner here. I thought they did dinner, but apparently it's mostly just for lunch. I also wanted a coffee, but the coffee shop was closed, so I let myself out onto the observation deck and took a lap. While I was doing my lap, the weather hit. The wind really picked up, everything was super crazy, little ice pellets were falling, so the sky was so cloudy I could not see any of the planets aligning. I went back inside and did a little more exhibit walking, and it was just mostly weird water bugs, which I thought was kind of cool, but, you know, everything was just kind of subpar. I don't mean to be rude, but it wasn't really the best museum. It was kind of just touristy. They do have an ice cave. Of course, it's man-made, but I was like, well, I'm going in, you know, it's all included with my bracelet. So I went into the ice cave, negative 10 degrees Celsius, and it was cold, but, you know, it is also just like a weird tunnel with ice on the walls. And, I mean, they were like, are you claustrophobic? No, I was fine. Everything was it was just cold. It was kind of like when you go into the freezer section at the grocery store. It's pretty self-guided, so like if you're ready to get out of there, you can just leave. It's not a big deal. It's just a little walking tour in the ice cave. It's just not that big of a deal. But I did see this little ice chair, and I was like, I'm gonna sit on that. And I turned my flash on because nobody was really in there with me. Maybe like one family, but they had kids, so they were kind of wandering around. I wouldn't say it was like a bad experience. I'm just going to say it probably wasn't worth $45 to walk around and read about glaciers, or to look at plastic animals, or to see tiny little sea snails, because that was the only thing they had. This is a glacier mice. I thought it was an actual mouse. No, it's just like a little piece of algae or moss. And then they had a lava show, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. but it was just a video of lava moving very aesthetically. And they kind of had like an incense burning, so it smelled kind of like a burning stick. It was okay. It probably wasn't worth the money. I was really hungry because I had planned on eating dinner there, but I didn't have dinner there, so I decided to walk back to my hotel and figure out some dinner. And as I was walking, the snow really picked up, which was kind of cool. I felt very aesthetic and like, I'm a girl alone in Iceland walking in the snow. I noticed that this restaurant was on the way back to my hotel, and look who was inside, our guide, Laurus. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna bother him because I'm here by myself and I'm having dinner. We had our welcome dinner here the first night, which is why I knew it was good. I had a glass of wine. I wouldn't say it was good wine. It was wine. And seafood gratin, which is just cheesy rice and seafood, prawns, garlic bread. It was almost too much cheese for me, but good day. All my stuff on the porch was frozen, so I had a cold Diet Coke and I went to bed.